Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to Two Flippin' Dudes. As always, I'm your host Jason here with my co-host Chris. Welcome to the show tonight, and we are excited to be here. We're taking on the reselling world, and we have a fun show tonight. So thanks for jumping in. Chris, welcome to the show.
What's up, Jason? Good to see you. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you as well. These weeks just go by so quick. It seems like we just did another show last week, and here we are again on episode 11.
I'm with you. Excited. It's amazing that it's already episode number 11. That's the part that's the most shocking to me.
You and me both. Well, tonight we have an action-packed show. As always, we show you some items that we're thrifting. We show you items that we're selling or that we've sold. And tonight we have got a special guest. For the first time in our live show, we've got a special guest joining us, a fellow reseller. We're not going to tell you who it is. You got to stay tuned to later in the show to find out who we have. We're excited to get to meet another reseller in the community. And as well, before that, we're going to be going over, you may have seen eBay's new spring seller update. And there are some key things that are going to impact your business and our business as well. So we're going to go over just some really quick bullet points of things changing that you may want to be aware of coming into effect here in April of this month, not too far, or of this year. So not too far away, and we'll get to that as well. But Chris, before we get into all of that, how's your week been?
Man, it's been a great week. You might remember back in December when I left my full-time job and committed to reselling full-time, I set a goal of doubling my currently listed items on eBay. So I had 392 items listed on my last day of work. I wanted to double that to get to 800 by March the 1st. And I actually did hit that goal last week. So in less than 3 months, I went from 392 to over 800 listings. So pretty proud of that. And I guess that led to the second kind of big update I have for you, which is I took basically the whole weekend off. I mean, I worked an hour or two here and there, but for the first time since, well, actually in the first time in a really long time, took a weekend off for myself and took a half day Tuesday and went to my first spring training game ever. So, and took my dad to spring training.
Rewarded your hard work and getting to 800 milestone with some time off and a nice baseball game. I like it.
It was a ton of fun. My dad took me to my first baseball game at Fenway back in 1990. So I got to take him to my first spring training game. He's been to spring training before, but it was my first spring training that I got to take him to. So
nice. Well, how did it feel just to unplug for the weekend, take some time off?
Oh, it was awesome. It was much needed. And I got a whole lot of sun down here in Florida. We've been having awesome weather. We're just kind of like, we're already making that transition from winter to spring. So I was out on a friend's boat on Saturday and at the beach on Sunday. So, and remember, I'm not a Florida boy. So this is all just very new and weird to me to be spending time in I guess the last weekend of February, beginning of March here, to be on a beach and wearing swim trunks.
Right.
It's kind of bizarre to me, but I'll tell you, it was fun.
Glad you got some much needed rest and just a different weekend pace wise.
Yeah. What's been going on in your world?
Well, I have something actually as of today, an update from, if you guys remember last week, I was talking about items that arrived damaged and I was going over some cases. And I'm kind of shocked, Chris, you're going to, once you find out today, I got in the mail, I knew I had something coming from the post office and here it is. You see that bad boy right there?
No way.
So I got a check from the post office for $17.50 for a claim that I opened up almost 3 months ago on that broken mug that I had. And honestly, I thought, this is long gone. They've denied it. They've forgotten about it. I've moved on. I just assumed I wasn't getting that money. This is one of those rare cases, I guess, where, well, maybe I shouldn't say rare cases. I guess this is one of those cases because that was my first claim that I actually got a claim paid from the post office. So, $17.50 isn't going to do a lot, but I'll take a free $17.50.
Yeah, chalk one up for the little guys. I mean, it's a nice moral victory right there.
That's very true. Very true. Well, let's go ahead and get into this week's show. Chris, why don't you go ahead and tell that new person out there that's never seen us before what we're all about so they know what to expect.
Welcome, everybody, and welcome, new person, to Two Flippin' Dudes. This is a live weekly show by resellers for resellers. Jason and I do this show for 3 simple reasons. Number 1, we love reselling. Number 2, we love talking about reselling. And number 3, we hope you walk away from this episode and every episode with an idea or two that might help you go improve your own business, grow your business, or maybe even just get started with a reselling business. So thanks for joining us tonight. I know there's a million things you could be spending your Thursday evening doing. I'm glad that you're spending it with us. Jason, happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you as well. And that's what this show is all about. So if you have any questions at all, please put them in the chat. We'll get to those a little later. I do want to do a shout out to Shelby. She says, I'm here. Finally made it for a live. Shelby, thank you so much for jumping in this show. We're excited to have you. All right. Well, I know, Chris, you were out thrifting yesterday and spent quite a lot of the day out at several stores. So show us some of those items that you got. I see that sweet piece hanging in the background. I don't know if that was thrifted recently, but what do you have for us that you're excited about?
That piece on the wall is a polo shirt that was thrifted yesterday. Cool piece. I put it up there just the colors are awesome, but this piece is so much cooler. Look at this LL Bean piece. I'll get the tag in here for you. Now, really, really unique piece. I'll show you some more about it. But one thing that's really interesting is the tag. I've never seen this before. Has like it's kind of covered up by the pattern. Both of the tags.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
But I guess going back to the big picture, we're talking about all over pineapples on like the body of the shirt. And then when you go to the arms, it's all over turtles. Get out of town with this thing. Look at that.
That thing is unique. Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. It's got some company's logo. I haven't looked this up, but I'm guessing it's somebody's company logo that they had embroidered on there, which won't help the value. But I don't think you could do anything to this shirt to take down the value, really. I mean, someone's got to see this shirt and snag it up. I'm sure when I post it on eBay, it'll be the only one of its kind up there. So super excited about this piece. I wish it was my size. It's a 16.5 34, so it's a little bit big for this fella, but what a cool, unique shirt.
Yeah, and thrifted by Ink. Rick says, sweet shirt, Chris. Yeah, I mean, could you like pull those threads out just to get that logo off there? I mean, kind of a disservice to that shirt, but that's still an amazing piece.
Yeah, I know. Like, think about the guy who loved his business so much that he had to like ruin that shirt by putting that on there. But no, and that's probably why someone donated it. They probably left the company and they're like, I don't want to wear my company logo. Who knows? Maybe it's a great company, great boss, great person, but it's an awesome shirt either way.
Yeah.
Second piece is something I've only found once before, and I don't know if you know of this brand, Jason. The brand is Descendant of Thieves, and
this is a new one for me.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know, it's just a pretty standard button-down striped shirt. I guess it's a size extra large, which is a good size. I don't remember. I've sold one of these before, and I think it was a less desirable size. I don't remember the stats on it, but was excited to see that one in a good size like that. I should have comped it out before the show. I haven't. Maybe I'll comp it out as we're sitting here, but pretty cool piece, a rare find for sure.
And that's a brand you had heard of before, or just, I mean, how did you know to pick it up if you didn't comp it?
I've sold it once before. It's been a long time. So I'll actually look it up while we're hanging out here, but I don't remember there was something like it was like a weird size the last time I picked it up, or like a small size, so it didn't sell very quick, but it did sell.
Nice. Yeah, I've never heard or seen that brand before, so I'll have to be on the lookout. Thanks for sharing that.
You are welcome, sir.
Did you find it up there on where you wanted to show us?
Oh yeah,
no.
I'm with you now. Looking at comps right now. I didn't like narrow it by the size, but it looks like comps are $20, $25, some up to $30, including shipping. If I narrow it down extra large, it'll probably be closer to 30 pretty consistently. A lot of sales, not many posted, so good combination. Yeah, when I zoom in just on extra large, some of the prices are higher, more like 30, even above 30, some of them. So
nice. Well, I've got some pretty unique pieces as well that I'd like to show. I went out on Tuesday. This brand obviously isn't new to anybody, but it's Banana Republic. And this jacket, you can see this was full price. I paid $18, paid up for this guy. And I'm taking a risk because it is March, but If it doesn't sell, now, it will sell next winter. But take a look at this. It's a very long jacket. It's got the flannel lined, and it's got like a really sweet leather collar, which I've never found before. It's a very thick corduroy. But something like this, I would put like field jacket. Field jackets are kind of longer in length, more to be worn like outdoors for those that may not know. And I didn't have a problem paying $18 for this because I knew I've sold a lot of these field jackets before and know that I can get over $50 for that. I've gotten in that $50 to $70 range on not necessarily a Banana Republic, but Carhartt, Orvis, Eddie Bauer are some like comparable brands, similar items that sell well. Here's a piece. I've never picked up this brand, and that's probably a good thing that I haven't, but I found this and I was like, that looks like it's worth something. But here's the brand. It's a brand I'm sure everyone knows, but Victoria's Secret. Where is it? There it is. Not that you need to see the tag. You probably know it already, but take a look at this. It's like a very soft plush, like bathrobe, black. It's got the VS embroidered on the front there. And this was priced at $8, just hanging on the rack at Goodwill. And I'm like, that's got to be worth some money. So I looked it up. There were a couple that sold like 45 to, I think one went for 70, but the one that went for 70 had like a hood that had like faux fur around it. So it was definitely a nicer one. That one was missing the belt. And I knew that in the store. I was kind of debating like, it's missing the belt. Do I get it? And I was like, $8. I know I can sell this for 25 or 30, missing the belt. So I went ahead and snatched it and got it drafted, ready to go. So I'll probably list that tomorrow and see what happens. But the story behind that was there was a ton of dog hair and cat hair on it to the point where I was like, should I get it? And I probably went through, not joking, 15 to 20 lint roller sheets trying to clean it up and get it looking great. And then I ended up washing it after that. So I think I've got it taken care of and ready to list.
15 or 20 lint roller sheets. That's got to be some kind of record. That's interesting. Did you find that piece? Were you hanging out? Were you going through some women's clothes, or did that get misrouted into the men's section?
No, it was in the boutique section. I always look there. They've got men's and women's kind of mixed in. And I saw it and was like, Victoria's Secret. I don't see that brand at all. And I'm not really shopping for women's at all, but it was mixed in and I looked it up and snatched it. So
nice grab. I can't wait to hear what that goes for and how quick it sells for. I hear a lot of people talking about Victoria's Secret being a good brand. So
yeah. And again, we'll see on that belt. I'm not sure. That could be, the belt is a huge piece on a robe, but I'm hoping that maybe someone has one that's kind of torn up and they've got the belt that they can just pull off of it and buy this robe.
Worst case scenario, you could keep it.
Just put it on. Luxury style. All right. Well, Chris, I don't think that I can rock the Victoria's Secret robe tonight, but I'll keep it over here to the side. I don't want anyone to see that for sure.
Well, you'll have to wait till you get some matching slippers.
The matching slippers. That's right. Well, let's move on and we'll come back if we have time to a few more items, but let's move on to what recently came out. The spring seller update from eBay dropped a couple of days ago. And some of you, I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but we want to highlight those things that are going to be impacting your store or your eBay account. So Chris and I have each pulled off a couple of noteworthy points just to go ahead and highlight for you tonight. So Chris, I'll let you start off with the first two.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Don't let this little talk replace you going and reading the seller update. If you're selling consistently on eBay, which I think most of you are, it's worth digging into and kind of reading these updates and see how it's going to impact your business. But we'll tell you about a couple of things that are particularly noteworthy that we think. So number one, and Jason, if you wouldn't mind sharing my screen for this one, we'll start with some good news here. So they've shaken up the levels for the store subscriptions. So one of the most common questions that Jason and I get is, when is it time to upgrade to a store, right? To pay a monthly subscription fee. And then when is it the right time to upgrade? So we'll take 2 seconds, or maybe 2 minutes just to talk about that. So the changes right now, so now the non-store and this, so if you have no store subscription, you now have 250 listings, which is the same as the starter store. There used to be a 50 listing difference between those two. So now non-store and starter store are the same exact number of free listings, these are your fixed price listing fees or your insertion fees. So that's one change, is you're getting 50 more for having a non-store. It used to be 200 for non-store. Now you're up to 250. The next change is that the basic store went from getting 500 free listings every month to now 1,000 free listings every month. And I'm only specifically speaking to fixed price listings or buy it nows. I'm not really talking about auctions, because neither Jason and I really do anything with auctions. I haven't done an eBay auction in probably 20 years. So that's the next big thing, is the basic store is jumping from 500 free listings a month to 1,000. That'll actually impact me. I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then third is the premium store, which is the store subscription that I have right now, went from 1,000 free listings per month to 10,000 free listings per month, which is colossal. So for me, I have 830 listings right now. So I've had the premium store subscription. I no longer need the premium store subscription, because the 1,000 free listings from the basic store are going to be enough to cover me for right now. I do plan to continue to grow and to grow over 1,000 listings, but right now I won't need it. So I'm going to actually downgrade from my $60 a month store subscription, that's the premium, down to the basic, which is $22. So right there, that's going to be saving me $38 a month in terms of subscription fees. So that's really good news. I think it's good news across the board for people, but it's definitely good news for me. I think it's good news for you too in your business, because you're over 1,000 listings, right?
Yeah. So every month I've got like 500 listings that I'm just paying for. So that will be a huge bonus.
So anyway, really good news. Excited about that. I think it's going to impact a lot of people. It's going to mean that we're going to change our recommendation for when to upgrade store levels. So we used to recommend that from going from the starter store to the basic store, that recommendation was that you would get to about 520 listings. That's when it made sense to upgrade to the basic from the starter. Now that math has changed. It's going to make sense to do that upgrade at 318 listings. So that's the new recommendation. If you have 318 listings or more active, it makes sense to jump from starter to basic. To make the jump from basic to premium, it's now going to make sense to wait until you get to 1,113 active listings. So I'm going to drop down from premium to basic for now. And then once I build the store up to 1,113, at that point, I'll jump up to the premium store. So that's the recommendation we would make for other folks. So that's that update.
That's huge. I mean, I was so excited to hear that one.
It's good news. And I think it's good news across the board. I can't see a scenario in which somebody would actually be hurt by this update because you're just getting more for the same price.
Yeah. And I wonder if for those people who have, I mean, I guess we don't know, but for those people who have locked in for the year rate, if they can just drop down now that, or increase now that eBay's changed, so they can move up or down.
I think you can move up or down. I'll have to double check that. I was moving forward under the assumption that I could, and I'm not even sure what the date is that this takes place. I should have double checked that. It doesn't say it in this little note. That's why I haven't made the change already. I'm going to wait and see when it actually goes into, when it becomes active.
Gotcha. And then you had another.
The other update is simple. This is about a sentence. Fees went up in most categories, your final value fee has gone up from 12.35% to 12.55%. And that's if you're on eBay's managed payments. You're basically, the fees that you'll pay after something sells are going up by 0.2%. So what is that going to do? How is that going to impact you? Well, basically, if you do $1,000 of sales a month, it's going to cost you an extra $20 in final value fees. And if you do 2,000, it'll be, $40 extra a month. And you get the rest of the math on that. So that's not good news. It's not terrible news, right? It's 0.2%, but like anything, prices tend to go up. They don't tend to go down.
Yeah. There's always some great updates, and then there's always some that we just aren't excited about. So let me segue into a couple that I have. One that is not as exciting news for some of you out there, and most of you probably don't have an Anchor or an enterprise store, so this probably won't affect you anyways unless you're a top-rated seller. But if you're aware, eBay's been giving a promotional credit every quarter of $30 for top-rated sellers to use on their promoted listings. Or if you have an Anchor enterprise store, you get 25 a quarter. So they're no longer going to be having that for either those store levels or that top-rated seller status. So that's going away starting, I believe, in April of this year. So bummer news on that, but you know, I don't understand, but that's okay. And then second, this is slightly better news. I wish I could give you a better update on this. This is just one of those things where, you know, we all have those buyers who, if you're accepting offers, make an offer and then never pay. And it's a frustrating deal. We've talked about it before in the past, wishing that eBay would do something to change their status on how they handle these buyers who don't pay. Well, they are making a couple changes with this. And one, if you know the policy, when a buyer doesn't pay after 2 days, you can open up a case. And then that gives the buyer 4 more days to pay. So 6 total days. They're now reducing that down to 5 calendar days. So after 5 days, the transaction can be canceled and you can relist that item. But here's the better part that I'm glad they're making this change. It's a minor thing, but eBay is no longer doing the where you have to open the unpaid item case. It will just keep track once the item sells on a best offer. And then 5 days after that, you can just cancel it. So there's no going in and opening up the case and then waiting an additional amount of time. It's just after 5 days, you go in, you cancel and relist. So that's better. I'm hoping that in the future, they will decrease the amount of time that we sellers have to wait for either payment or relisting. But as of right now, that's kind of where they stand. And I know there are a lot of sellers out there, especially other like YouTubers who are trying to use their voice with eBay to get this changed. And that is a small change, but hopefully in another update, we'll see something a little more drastic than that. And Chris, I'm glad that you pointed out the article because I've got it linked in this video in the YouTube description. So if you want that full article, we're not going to go into any more details on other changes being made. Of course, there are several others, but we kind of just cherry picked some of the few ones that we thought you would want to know tonight. So if you're interested, go read it for yourself. Go into the description and you'll find it there. Well, that's all we have on the spring seller update. Hope that helped you out and gave you a little idea on what it's going to look like starting in April here in a month and continuing on for the next few weeks or months. But right now, we want to bring in our guest on this show for the first time. Chris, I know we've been talking about this for a while. We've been talking about getting a guest on the show, and we've been so excited for this moment to bring in someone that's out there as well, reselling, that we're familiar with, that we can connect with and hear their story of how they're reselling and how they're making it in their journey. So are you ready for this?
Oh, I'm ready. I think we've been ready for this for about 8 or 9 weeks. Our guest, I don't think, knows that we've been thinking about having them on for that long, but we have.
Well, let's go ahead and bring him in without further ado. Welcome to the live show, Juan from One Stop Shop. Welcome, Juan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it, the offer. I was pretty excited to be on here.
We're excited to have you as well. We both were just excited when you said that you would come on. So we're here, and now we just want to get to know you in this segment of just meeting another reseller out there and hearing how things are going in your world. So I know, we know a little bit about you, but give those watching a little bit of an intro on who you are. Tell us some things that you think may be important for them to know about you.
Sounds good. So I'm a reseller based out of Appleton, Wisconsin, which is south of Green Bay. If you guys don't know the Midwest that well. And I started reselling back in 2019. And I just did it as a hobby at first. Because I always loved going for that hunt and going thrifting. I always enjoyed that even before I knew really about reselling. And one day I stumbled across some YouTubers like you guys, and saw that they made money off of this stuff. So I was pretty jacked about that and jumped on opportunities. Started watching more YouTube and learning what items sell, and that's how I got on.
Well, that's awesome, and glad you got on. You're a recent, I mean, I say recent, a little over a year you've been reselling.
Yeah. I always had that entrepreneur spirit, and the hardest step is the first one. So I just decided to get on it, and I went all in. Got a nice setup here in the basement, and went for it.
Yeah, I see a lot of pairs of shoes behind you. I'm guessing those are all listed right now for sale.
They are. This is just one area of the eBay shack or store or shop. My wife doesn't always appreciate some of the stuff, but
there's a reason why it's down in the basement, right?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say for those watching, we're going to have a segment or a time where we take a couple of questions from the viewers. So if you do have questions for Juan as we're talking, go ahead and start putting them in, and we'll get to those in a little bit. But Juan, tell us what's your store comprised of? So what do you sell? What are you looking for? What are your bread and butter items? We'll start there.
Sounds good. So I guess I'll walk you through when I go through like a thrift store. One of the first things I look at, I always tend to go through the hard goods because the more I sell, the bigger the stores. My store, I kind of want to ship items, or I always look for things that are easy to ship. And so I look to the hard goods, and based on my knowledge that I have, I try to pick those items up, go through hard goods. Then I go through the shoes and the electronics. And recently, because of you guys, actually, I started looking more into clothing, and now I have a pretty good stockpile of Ralph Lauren and LL Bean and vineyards and stuff like that. So I appreciate you guys' knowledge on some of that stuff.
Yeah, I was actually, well, you're definitely welcome. And I'll say I was actually looking at your store. I was like, he has quite the random assortment of stuff. Like I saw some like sports apparel. Obviously, you've got shoes, and then you said hard goods. So it's kind of cool that you've, kind of, I guess you never really started, but you've kind of gotten into so many different categories that, I mean, you can really go into a store and pull out a lot of stuff because you know so much about those things.
Yeah, I'm not an expert in an area, but I'm dangerous enough,
That's right. So, I mean, what are the things, when you go into a store, what's the first section you go to? Like, is it still hard goods, or has that changed at all?
Yeah. For a while there, I wanted to build my clothing part of the store. So I went to the 4X spot first and worked my way backwards. And then I went over to electronics. But right now I have a good, I was trying to keep a good number. Like if I'm running low on a category, like I need more of this stuff, and I go look particular for that kind of stuff. Like right now, I'm pretty good in the clothing section. I always look anyways when I'm in there, but right now I feel like I need more video games, stuff like that. So that's the stuff I look for now. I kind of prioritize based on my inventory.
Okay, so if you have a lot of something, you may not go to that section first.
Yeah. And right now I have quite a bit of everything, but I still go because that's exciting.
Yeah. Well, what's your, I mean, like, obviously, I tell people all the time, if you're just getting started, start with like what excites you. So what is it? Would you say it's like video games, or what is it that you really love looking for that's fun and exciting that you could just spend all day there?
It's a weird thing because like, everybody has like a hobby that they like to sell, or like there's fishermen. I'm a big fisherman, but I don't know a lot about the equipment. And I like video games or the idea of it, but I don't play a lot, but I like to learn about it. And I know there's a lot of collectors out there. So that's kind of my area of like vintage stuff. Like I really didn't care for vintage stuff in the past, but since I've been reselling, I'm learning a lot and what that brings to people that grew up with those video games. So I like to think about it as I'm providing that service for those people to reconnect with their memories when they're growing up. And that's kind of my go-to right now is vintage stuff, vintage clothes, vintage games, in that category.
Yeah, and there's a huge market for that of people across a lot of categories, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, you said you got started back in 2019. What was it that like brought you in? Like what made that first sale, or how did you get into it?
So, like I mentioned, I always loved going to thrift stores and stuff like that. And then I started watching. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I saw like Cincinnati Picker. If you guys are familiar with him, and Shed Flips, and I just started, watching a lot of those videos, and then I got really interested in. I started selling some of my own stuff, and then I guess the one sell that really got me going is I was pretty new to this, so I went to my mom's basement, started looking at everything she had, and I was looking up comps, trying to figure out what's worth something, and I ran across this Hot Wheel red line that I don't know how long it's been sitting down there, but I grabbed a bunch of toys and she's like, I could have them, and then that Hot Wheel sold in 20 minutes for $180, and
Whoa.
I think that kind of sparked everything for me. Since then, I've been 100% in the reselling business.
Did you say 20 minutes for $180?
Yeah, it was about 25 minutes. Like I remember finding it, like looking at comp, and I saw one that sold for like 140, and it was pretty beat up. And I was excited. I was like talking to my wife, look what I found. This sold for 140, and then I'm gonna go list it quick. And then like 20 minutes later, it sold for $180.
It doesn't matter who you are. You make a sale like that in half an hour, and that will hook you in.
Yeah. And ever since, she wasn't so mad about the stuff that I had on here after that.
Yeah. It's like, look how quickly I turned this little guy into some cash here.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Well, sorry, go ahead.
well, that's what I was just saying. That's what got me really interested in this, and with that, you come up with goals, and I'm still learning a lot about the business, and my goals adjust as I go.
So, I mean, what would you say? Because, you're a little over a year. I'm sure you've learned a lot along the way. What would you say are goals for you? Like, are you just doing this to have fun? Like, do you have like some tangible steps you're trying to reach with your business? Because I know you're part-time, you have a full-time job, but what do you see with this in the future?
I didn't really have goals when I first started, but if for the people who follow me on TikTok, you saw my video. I paid for that vacation with the profits of eBay, and that's something that I didn't think of when I first started. But I mean, the income is there, and I guess that's what I'm kind of using it right now, is to build that fund money or for a rainy day. But now that the business is growing, I'm selling more things. I'm trying to look for more opportunities to grow into what I want to, which the thing that's important to me is time. So I want to build enough capital to potentially get into a different kinds of business, like either the thing that really interests me is reselling and also real estate. So that's kind of the areas I want to focus in or grow in.
Okay. Real estate's a great one to jump into as well. And I'm sure there's some, skills that you're acquiring that will help you in whatever avenue you go into.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I want to build this capital from reselling into potentially help me with a real estate business in the future. But you never know, my goals might change next week or next year, just enjoying the ride as I learn.
Yeah, and you alluded to it, but you just got back from vacation in Mexico where your trip was paid by your eBay, revenue, which I think is a huge accomplishment. I mean, to be able to say to your family, we're going on a free vacation. I mean, you definitely paid for it. You put in the time, but to be able to have it all from your eBay sales, I think is remarkable.
Yeah, and that is pretty neat to think about it, because when I was younger in college, I did vacations, but it was on the credit card. Not smart, not a smart purchase. But now that we had our fun and it's all debt free, it's a lot. It's a lot of stress relief, and we had a good time.
Yeah. Well, props to you. So I know you've got an eBay store and you sell there, but do you sell on other platforms or is it primarily eBay?
Recently, I've been seeing a lot of other resellers, and that's what I love about this community, is that we learn from each other. I've seen a lot of other people sell frequently on Facebook, and I actually listed something on Facebook 2 days ago, and it sold within a night. Over the next morning, it was my first shipping. Except I sold, locally on Facebook, but that was my first shipment to go out, which I think ran pretty smoothly. We'll see how it goes once the customer receives it, and what happens after that. I'm not really sure. That's basically it. I tried my card for a little bit, but it was just an experiment that, again, I was doing it part time, like, because I still have to go to work from
Right.
8 to
Yeah.
5. So I think I was seeing a lot of momentum on eBay, so I kind of stuck with that. But Facebook is, I have them up next to each other, and I just post and then copy and paste basically.
Yeah, that I think, what you're talking about is something that a lot of people are starting to try out, is that Facebook Marketplace platform. I myself have started doing that this week. So you'll have to let us know in a video or something how that goes on TikTok, because I'm actually curious. I have no idea what happens after you make a sale on Facebook. I'll be learning by, trial. So
Well,
do
that's
you have
what,
videos or anything that, can show what you did?
well, it's funny because, like, it's when you sell it, it says, "How would I get paid?" That's like I guess a frequent asking, frequent question, and I say, hey, that's an excellent point. How am I going to get paid? But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure I've seen other people do it, so the trust is there.
Yeah. Well, I've got one more question, and then we've got a couple of viewer questions we'll ask you on before we let you go. But, give us your biggest flip. What's the biggest flip you've had in your reselling career?
Sure. So this actually happened not too long ago. I put out an ad out on, again, I was focusing on trying to get vintage games or, video games. And I put an ad out on an app, like a Nextdoor app. It's like, hey, I'm looking for vintage Nintendo games or PS1 games. And someone reached out and they had a bunch of NES games. And I saw like Donkey Kong, Super Mario. So I was kind of interested already in all that stuff. And then they gave me a price of $60, and I took it. And they said it didn't work. They're not sure if it worked, and I was okay with that risk. It turns out to be like $2 per item, because that's how many games in the system came with. And actually, the game that I wasn't focused on at all is called Panic Restaurant. I just looked it up, see how much it was worth. I saw it was selling between $600 to $700, and I was like, I mean, heard of this name, or I was focused on the Super Mario because Super Mario, right? And so I ended up selling that game in a week for $635.
My goodness,
$2 into $635 plus shipping. So,
so what's that game again for everyone listening? Panic
Restaurant.
Wow, $600 and something dollars.
Yeah, that was my biggest selling. That was recent. That was like less than a month ago, and I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, that topped the Hot Wheels car for sure.
Yeah.
We have a viewer, Shelby, who asks, Juan, how many items do you have listed?
Right now, I have 450 items listed in my store.
Okay.
It wasn't like, for the most part, when I first started, I had about 50 to 60 items. Then I slowly started learning more the items to list or what sells, and grow from there. I averaged about 200 or 300 for a while. And with, what happened this last year, I spent a lot more time at home, and I was able to build up that inventory.
That's really cool. Good for you. And Rick asks this, thrifted by Inked. Juan, what type of shoes do you look for? What do you sell most of when it comes to shoes?
I look more for athletics shoes. The hookah. I don't know. There's different ways to pronounce it. Ones or uno. I'm not really sure. But those shoes, Jordans, I have the Keens, stuff like that. I kind of don't know much about dress shoes to go into. If I have time, I'll look some stuff up, but I would tend to look for the stuff I kind of know already and look them up that way. But that's the type of stuff I go for. And wrestling shoes actually does pretty well for me.
Wrestling shoes.
Yeah. They don't
Are
stay
there?
in the
Oh,
Was that?
sorry.
They
I
don't
was
stay in the
gonna-
store that often.
Are there certain brands you look for with wrestling shoes?
Nike, Asics. Asics do pretty well. I recently sold youth ones for $25, so that was pretty good. And they're Adidas ones. So, and right now, wrestling season just passed, so I'm not
Okay.
sure. Wrestling normally is in the fall, October to December, but those wrestling shoes, they also use them for a lot of other things, for boxing, and so yeah.
Very cool. Well, Juan, this has been great. It's been great getting to meet you and you sharing your story with us and everyone watching. I just want to thank you so much. I wish we had more time to keep this conversation going.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me again, and I appreciate the invite.
Well, have a good one, and hope your week selling is amazing and you get some good sales as the weekend approaches.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You guys too.
Take
We'll
care,
see you,
Juan.
Juan.
Thanks for the wrestling shoes, Bolo, and that in the video game Panic Restaurant, which sounds like every restaurant I ever ran in my life.
All right, Juan. Well, take care.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. Well, that was a lot of fun, and I would say success. Juan, thank you so much. Always enjoy hearing what other people are doing because, Chris and I, we're always talking about things we're doing, and a lot of what we do is very similar, but it's great to bring in other people that are selling different things and just hear their stories. So that was very informative, and hopefully you got some nuggets out there that you can look for next time you're at the store as well.
Isn't Juan impressive? He's a family man. He's got a full-time job, and he's built up an eBay store with over 400 listings. He's got a really good sell-through rate too. I was looking through his store, and a variety, just a real interesting variety of items that shows that he's just got a lot of knowledge in a lot of different categories. Really impressive fella. Yeah. And he has time to create really, really good content on TikTok too. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how he juggles all of that, and just got back from an awesome vacation with all the money he made from it.
Yeah. And if you want to follow him, there's his handle. So jump over to TikTok and give him a follow on TikTok if you're not already. Well, Chris, it's that time. It's that time of the show where we play a game. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's play a flippin' game. We got 5 flippin' questions. 2 flippin' dudes will have 1 flippin' winner. We're going to need your help, though. Question number 5. We need audience participation to help us decide who's the winner. Let's jump right into this thing. I am your defending champion. I won last week, which means I get to go first this week. So let's kick off with our first question. Number 1, the biggest sale. So my biggest sale is this here baseball bat. This is a Nike Aero Fuse bat, definitely used, had some wear on it, but no big dents or anything. I picked it up 2 months ago. I paid $14 for it. It's sold on a best offer, including shipping, of $51. And I shipped that out this week. These things are super easy to ship out. Don't be intimidated by shipping bats. Go ahead and pick them up, ship them up, ship them out. It's super easy. I think it's shipped for $8.50, by the way. So $51 total on this baseball bat. That's my biggest sale.
Wow, nice sale there. All right, we'll get mine pulled up. This is my biggest sale from the week here. I picked this up probably 2 or 3 months ago. This Maiwa, I'm not sure how you pronounce the brand, but it was like an Aztec Southwestern print, as you can see here. And it was, let's see, 16-piece set. So I paid around like $15 to $20 for all of this. And it had this just beautiful pattern. I had the buyer make an offer for $100 plus $25 shipping on Wednesday. I definitely took that offer for $125 all in on this sale. So that's awesome, my biggest sale.
Yeah, awesome sale. Beautiful set, by the way, too. That's nice. So you take question number 1. So Jason with the shoes, 1. Chris with the shirts, nothing. By the way, the highest tech scoreboard in the business and the best artwork right there. Let's move on to question number 2, biggest profit. So we're looking for the item from the last 7 days that sold with the biggest profit after shipping and fees. And I am ready with mine. So here we go. This really cool vintage Polo Ralph Lauren fleece hoodie jacket. pretty unique item, not something I've ever come across before, a fleece from Polo or Ralph Lauren. So I ended up selling this thing for, what did I get for it? I got a best offer of $52, including shipping. That left me with, after shipping and fees, a $31 profit. I paid $4 for this item. It sold in 29 days. So $31 in my pocket on this Polo Ralph Lauren fleece.
That's an amazing color pattern there.
Classic.
Well, I picked these up. I had 14 of these mugs that I picked up for $1 each. And the funny thing is American Arbitrage had just done a video on TikTok that said, be on the lookout for Spode, this brand right here. The next day I'm at the store and they had 14 of these, all the same pattern here for $1. I was like, this is just a random coincidence. So that it was the next day. I had an offer come in. First 4 that I sold at $20 a piece plus shipping. So $103 all in for 4 mugs. My profit ended up being $75.82. Another great sale on Wednesday of this week.
That's a ridiculous sale, man. Spode for the win. Nice shout out there to American Arbitrage.
Yeah, it's a great brand. So be on the lookout for that when you're in the mugs section.
You've been crushing the mugs and bowls lately. I'm impressed, I must say. All right, so an update to our Flippin scoreboard. Jason with the shoes, often running to a 2-0 lead over Chris with the shirts. Let's move on to question number 3, a fan favorite, fastest sale of the week. So I got mine up on the screen right here. So this is a weird fast sale. Brooks Brothers is, for me, is sort of a medium slow seller typically. This item I listed this week. It sold in 21 minutes on a best offer, $23, including shipping.
21 minutes?
It's one of my fastest sales of all time. I mean,
that's a show record right there.
Yeah, definitely a show record. And it might be, I mean, for me, the only things I can think of that sold faster than this are Apple stuff, anything Apple, if you price it right, sells really fast. But I maybe have I sold 1 or 2 things faster than this ever. 21 minutes on this Brooks Bros shirt. Nothing fancy about it. Size large. I will say the sheep logo does help Brooks Brothers sell a little bit faster.
Wow. Well, I thought I had a contender and I have a good one, but this one came in tonight at dinner time and I can't believe this one is not going to win it. But 21 minutes can't be beat in a lot of contests with that time you had. And Chris, I got to say, this was my first Facebook Marketplace sale.
Nice.
Came in today. I listed this today around lunchtime. Within 5 hours and 22 minutes, these sandals sold for full price, $25 plus shipping.
Right on. Nice job on that. Now, do you feel like that's about the same price you would have gotten on eBay? Are the platforms comparable there?
Yeah, I wanted $30 and I would have accepted 24, 25 on an offer. And that's about what they were selling for. The colors were different and unique. There weren't any of that style. So I think that's maybe why they sold quicker. But yeah. And, obviously make more money on Facebook Marketplace. So my fees are a lot less. I love that sale right there.
Nice sale. It's tough to beat 5 hours, but I did. So here we go. Updated scoreboard. Jason with the shoes 2, Chris with shirts 1. We got another spirited close game here. I love it. This is my favorite category. Question number 4, slowest sale. Why is it my favorite? I love getting rid of this old inventory, and I got rid of some old stuff this week. This might have made an appearance on the game before, but definitely the garage sale that I picked this up from has made an appearance a number of times. So August 31st of 2019, I bought $800 worth of stuff. My cost $800 of stuff from an Amazon reseller who is cashing out of the business. And this is one of the items I picked up. I picked up a case of, I think, maybe 24 of these. So this sold in, I guess it was 545 days. I actually am down to, I can see them up on the shelf there. I'm down to, I think, 5 of these left now. And every time one sells, I make $1, $1 or $2, depending on the shipping price, where it's going. So slowest sale for me was 545.
Nice. Well, here's my slowest sale. These Hagar, they're like a performance golf pant. I picked up in like a 3-month span, I picked up 40 or 50 of these pairs of pants, all new with tags for like $5 to $7 a piece. And I was just slowly adding them to the list. And I finally sold them all out, but I've got like 2 left. And finally, one of these sold. I listed these on, let's see, what is that? September 6th, 2018.
Wow.
So we're coming up on 2.5 years old. This was 899 days old. Finally sold on a best offer of $17 all in on these pants.
So do you have any recommendations on Hagar for our viewers?
Oh my gosh, stay away from Hagar. I see it all the time now. And the only reason why I picked that up actually was because I was getting multiple quantities, and a lot of those were the same size. So it was an easy listing to get 10 up right away. So that's the only reason why I picked up that brand, or else I passed that brand all the time. So
I think I chuckled a little bit. I don't know if you heard me when you said Hagar. I was like, what? You're picking up Hagar? But I guess
even saying the name just sounds strange, like Hagar.
I guess you got wooed by the new WHATS tags. Which,
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Right. Updated scoreboard with that slow motion Hagar sale. Jason is up 3-1, which means Jason has locked up this game. It's only a 5-question game, and you already have 3 of the points. But question number 5 is a good moral victory, or could be a good moral victory, and is a fan favorite. So best pick. So the best item that you picked up at a garage sale or thrift store this week, we're going to need audience participation. You're going to vote J in the chat if you feel like Jason's item is the coolest. C in the chat if you think Chris's. Don't vote yet. Wait till you see what we're going to show you first. I thought I lost it for a second, but I found it. You're going to love this piece, y'all. All right. So we have some reindeer. Interesting. And on the back, look at this. Santa Claus in all his glory with some gifts.
Wow.
Reindeer on the back. What brand, you ask? Well, it's Silk. So that should help narrow it down.
Tory Richard. Okay.
Tory Richard.
My first thought was Matt Nast.
Yes, Tory Richard, 70% silk. This is a size extra large, solid black, but reindeer. I mean, we got Christmas in July with this bad boy right here. So, if you don't know, Tory Richard is a brand out of Honolulu, so kind of true Hawaiian brand, and they're known for mostly these silk aloha shirts. So kind of cool to find an aloha shirt with that's embroidered with Santa and his reindeer. And even Rudolph too. I'm just sort of noticing that Rudolph's nose there, oh so bright, shining.
Is it like embroidered or is that sequins? It's kind of hard to tell.
It's all embroidered.
Okay.
Yeah, all embroidered.
That's a cool shirt.
Never seen anything out like it, but Tory Richard does surprise me from time to time with some really kind of cool out there wild patterns.
Yeah, that's a brand I just have not found in quite some time, but you've been pretty lucky with them.
That's one thing that we joked about when I was, first talking about moving to Florida, was the idea that I'm going to find probably less Patagonia and maybe more Tommy Bahama and that shift in climate and attire. And I've been pulling a lot of Tory Richard lately.
Yeah, you have. All right, well, here's mine. I found this brand new sealed in the box. See if you can see it there. It is a Backyard Safari Turbo Bug Vacuum. See if I can get this guy to make some noise here. You got to hit the turbo boost and pull the trigger. You hear that? Sounds like it's on its last. Sounds like it's on its last engine, whatever that it means. But it's. I'm not really sure what I think about this product, but it's got sales. I mean, I paid $5 for it. It's got sales around like 30 plus shipping, but it's a bug vacuum. So it is apparently, I mean, I don't know if that engine right there is going to do it, but sucks the bugs right up the tube. And then I don't know what you do with them from there. So I guess you just put them in a jar or, $30 for me. That's how I'm looking at it.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's an interesting find, man. I like to see you branching off and checking out new stuff for sure. I don't know what to make of that thing, to be honest.
I don't either. I had to test it out. I'm like, does this work? For some reason, if if you kind of mess with it for a while, it starts to pick up steam. So I didn't get a faulty product. At least I don't think I did. It is from 2007, so it's been sitting for a while somewhere.
I mean, is this a bolo, or did you just buy this straight up just for the game?
No, I mean, it was $5 and I can make 35 or 40. So I definitely picked it up.
I dig it, man. Well, let's get those votes down below. If you think Jason's item, the turbo bug vacuum, is the winner this week, go ahead and vote by putting a J in the chat. If you think Chris's piece, my piece, the Tory Richard reindeer Santa sleigh Christmas in July piece is the best, go ahead and put C down in the chat below. We see some votes rolling in. Looks like it's maybe pretty even here.
And Chris, I just added them up, and it's 5-4 in favor of me right now. So wow. We'll give it some time and see if anyone else is going to make a vote on this. Besides, we've got 9 votes in so far. So if you're going to vote, do it quickly because time is running out.
While those votes are coming in, I saw a question from Shelby that I think I can answer real quick if you do a quick shared screen, Jason. So Shelby has asked, is there a way that you can see how long something's been listed on eBay? And if you share my screen, you can actually see at the very top, this is on, I don't want to scroll up any further because I don't want to show the buyer's name. But you can see how it says August 31st, 2019 right there. So you'll know if I'm ever fibbing and lying about how old this is. That's funny. That's good. I actually got home and listed it that same day. I love that part. It's good stuff. So that's on, like, when you just click on the sold listing right there. It has to be on desktop. There's no way to do that on the mobile device or in the eBay app on mobile. Not that I know of anyway.
Yeah. I'm glad you saw that question because that was a good one. Well, I don't see any other votes. I see it 5-4. I say we just call it right there.
Dang,
I think the bug vacuum wins it.
Nice win. I honestly don't know how the bug vacuum won, but nice.
Chris, I'm kind of surprised myself on this one.
Not that I would ever doubt the judgment of our viewers. Y'all are the best. I appreciate you voting. I appreciate you asking good questions and hanging out with us on Thursday night. There's a million things that you could be doing tonight, but maybe none of them are as fun, as informative as hanging out with Jason and Chris and Juan tonight. So thanks for hanging out with us.
That's right. And, as we're leaving this game, we do have a question of the night. So I'll go ahead and put it up there so you can go and start throwing in your answers in the chat. But what was your biggest flip this week? Give us the story. We want to know. Everyone is watching. We want to know. What's selling right now?
There we go. Yeah, we showed ours. Show us yours. Here's the update here. Flippin scoreboard. Jason with a 4-1 win. That's a rare blowout. We don't see that too often. It's usually 3-2.
That is very rare. Yeah.
Not only did you get the win, you got the moral win with the best pick of the week too. Gotta love that. Updated our all-time record book here. Again, this is just awesome artwork that belongs on the refrigerator. So all time, we're looking at Chris with 7 wins, Jason with 4. It seems like we're just switching off weeks lately. But yeah, we want to see what's your biggest flip. Put it down here in the chat. I see some rolling in already.
And Juan, our guest from tonight, said HD cameras for outside, bought for $8, sold for $150. Dang. That's a great flip there, Juan. Awesome. Line dancing with Nick and Renee says white snow camo pants, $30.
Nice.
That's perfect because this is the season, and in a month, people won't be buying those anymore.
Yeah, get rid of that ski stuff.
Let's see, or at least I assumed it was ski. $75 for an army Kevlar helmet. I had $19. Nice.
Wow.
A lot of great sales this week. Here's one we've talked about lately, Babolat. Tennis racket paid $6, sold for $87.50. Chris, I know you've been in the Babolat game before, made some sales there on that brand.
Dang, nice one, Lion Creek. He's got that Babolat. I think we saw you put together a shipping tennis rackets video this week too, if I remember right.
Yeah, I picked up a Babolat, so I may have to go give that one a watch because I'll need to know how to ship that. I found a Disney Atlantis t-shirt found in the bins for less than $1, sold for $60. Oh, that's got to be such a great feeling when you find something for $1 that goes for over $50.
Nothing beats those dollar flips, man.
Let's see what else. Daniel Daniel says, bought a Peter Millar polo for $5, sold for $55. Daniel, that's a really good price on a Peter Millar polo. Was it new with tags, or was it like a special, unique Peter Millar? I'd be interested in knowing what kind of shirt that was.
He's got to be new with tags at that price, 55. That's great.
Yeah, because the used ones are around that $25 to like $45 range. So definitely a good score. And then last one here, Tony P says, prison issued alarm clock. Spent $3 for 20 plus shipping.
Nice. What do we get Ryan in there? It looks like he sold some Yeezys.
Oh, yeah. I missed that. Sorry, Ryan. Yeezys 220 into 300.
Ryan's in that shoe flip game, which is, boy, that game is competitive, but there's a lot of money to be made in that shoe flip game.
Yeah, it really is. It really is a competitive game. All right, well, that's it on our show tonight. As a reminder, guys, we're here every Thursday night. So we'll be back next week. So come back and see us next week. We'll have the game as well. I'll be defending the throne there for this week. And we'll have some other fun things that we're talking about and showing you. So please come back and see us. It's always a great time, especially when we have people joining us live.
Thanks, y'all. Enjoyed it. Good to see you. Wishing you a good weekend coming ahead of maybe getting out there and sourcing, and hopefully a good weekend of sales too. The seasons are changing, and you know what? We got stimulus checks coming, so we should see some retail. The retail game should be heating back up again. We got some states that are relaxing some restrictions and letting people go out again. That's huge for those of you who are clothing resellers like us.
Yeah, and just because I did call out Daniel on that, I wanted to get his response before we go ahead and close out the show. But it looked new, no tags, had a Baylor Bear University logo. And that, yeah, I figured it had some kind of distinguishing mark to go for that much. Sick. So thanks for putting that in, Daniel, and great sale on that guy. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week on our next show. Happy selling. Hope you guys get some great sales this weekend. Until our next show, we'll catch you later.